Good evening, you're just in time for this edition of the Diamond News Desk at 8. We bring you some of the latest stories featured on our website on diamondtvzambia.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Diamond TV Online, and on X at Diamond TV Zambia. The headlines. Nkana Member of Parliament Nkana dragged to court over alleged seditious remarks in JJ Banda abduction case. And Sakania borders deteriorating conditions spark health concerns amid calls for immediate government intervention. And President Hichilema calls on Norway to reopen embassy in Zambia amid push for stronger bilateral ties.
The News Desk at 8 with Cheswa Kapasa.
Thank you for making time to join us for this edition of the Diamond News Desk. In our leading stories this evening, Nkana Member of Parliament Nkana has been dragged to court for accusing Trevor Mwinda of being behind the alleged abduction of JJ Banda. In this matter, Mr. Mpundu is charged with the offence of seditious practices contrary to the laws of Zambia. According to the particulars of the offence, the state has also alleged that Mr. Mpundu on December 29, 2024, in Lusaka, urged his fellow politicians to buy guns in readiness to defend themselves, remarks said to incite violence or any offence prejudicial to public order likely to disturb the public peace. And when the matter came up before court, Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chiwidi allocated the case to himself. However, the accused was not present as he is reportedly unwell, and according to his surety convincer Member of Parliament Christopher Kangombe, the matter has since been adjourned to August 18, 2025 for plea.
Under the regime of the United Party for National Development, UPND, Nkana Member of Parliament Nkana becomes the third MP to be dragged to court for the offence of seditious practices. Others include former Mfue Member of Parliament Maureen Mabonga and former Independent Lumezi Member of Parliament Munia Zulu, both of whom lost their parliamentary seats following convictions on similar charges. Mr. Mpundu is charged with seditious practices contrary to Section 57 subsection 1b, read together with Section 60 subsection 1i of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. The state alleges that on December 29, 2024 in Lusaka, Mr. Mpundu made public remarks linking Trevor Mwinda to the abduction of Honorable JJ Banda. He further claimed that the suspect remained untouched by police and went on to assault Sean Tembo in front of the Luapula Commissioner of Police, Yui Mwaya. Additionally, Mr. Mpundu is alleged to have urged fellow politicians to acquire firearms to defend themselves, remarks the state says were meant to incite violence or disturb public order. When the matter was called, Chief Resident Magistrate Davis Chiwidi allocated the case to himself. However, the accused was not in attendance. Defense lawyer Newman Siwila informed the court that Mr. Mpundu is unwell. His surety convincer Member of Parliament Christopher Kangombe has confirmed this and presented a medical report from Kitwe Teaching Hospital. After reviewing the sick note, Magistrate Chiwidi noted that it lacked sufficient detail but granted the accused the benefit of the doubt. The matter has been adjourned to August 18, 2025 for plea. Under the laws of Zambia, seditious practices carry a maximum penalty of up to 7 years imprisonment or a fine not exceeding 6,000 penalty units or both for a first offense. Mr. Mpundu remains out of custody as the case proceeds. Best Jerry, Diamond News.
And over 400 trucks crossed the Sakania border post in Ndola daily, linking Zambia to the Democratic Republic of Congo. However, the critical trade route continues to grapple with a deteriorating sanitation crisis. And with no designated truck park and only one toilet facility, truck drivers are forced to relieve themselves in nearby bushes while awaiting clearance, often for several hours or even days. The situation has raised serious public health and hygiene concerns at one of Zambia's busiest border points. Ndola District Commissioner Precious Njekwa, who toured the border, has described the conditions as deplorable and has called for urgent intervention. Ms. Njekwa says although Sakania has been earmarked for infrastructure upgrades, including the rehabilitation of key facilities, immediate measures such as mobile toilets and temporary truck holding areas are urgently needed to safeguard public health and driver dignity.
Over 400 trucks across the Sakania border post every single day, a critical link between Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo. But behind this growing commercial activity lies a silent crisis, a lack of basic sanitation and a proper parking space for the thousands of drivers who pass through.
A small toilet behind, which is in use, but the complaint is that the drivers usually they don't park here. Here is just a passage. So beyond this point, we don't have a council parking where they can park and also access sanitation facilities that we do not have here in Sakania. But when they're here at the border, we still at least accommodate them to answer the call of nature.
With only one functioning toilet facility, many drivers are left with no choice but to help themselves in their nearby bushes, a situation that has sparked growing concern.
Where they are supposed to do a border, there is a small market, so there's a challenge in terms of moving those people where they should move. One of the major complaints from the truck drivers, that is both from Congo and Zambia, or those that are entering Congo and coming out, is that there is poor sanitation. There are no toilets, in short, where they would help themselves.
Ndola District Commissioner Precious Njekwa toured the border and described the condition as unacceptable for a facility of such strategic importance.
Consent, that's why we are here this morning, together with DJOC and other stakeholders. I must say that we need to get back to the office and see how we can work with ZRA and also the local authority.
She says while the border is earmarked for future infrastructure upgrades, there is urgent need for immediate interventions, including mobile toilets and a designated trucking holding area.
Our drivers are using the bush, which is not correct. So we'll put our heads together with local government and also ZRA to see how we can help our people. That's why we are here this morning, just to appreciate the border.
As trade volumes increase, the sanitation crisis at Sakania border not only threatens public health but also risks tarnishing Zambia's image as a reliable gateway for regional commerce. Love Mosandesh for Diamond News in Ndola.
The United Party for National Development has called on government to withdraw Zambia Police Service officers deployed to provide security at the Kikonge Gold Rush site in Mfumbwe district amid allegations that the officers are involved in illegal mining activities. The Northwestern Province UPND chairperson Adam Sapezo has accused some police officers of collaborating with foreign nationals to mine gold under the cover of darkness. Mr. Sapezo claims that while the police prevent locals from engaging in illegal mining during the day, they allegedly allow foreigners to conduct mining activities at night. Meanwhile, Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development Permanent Secretary Dr. Hapenga Kabeta has stated that the government is addressing the concerns raised regarding the conduct of security personnel at the site.
Working around the clock to ensure that Kikonge Gold Rush area in Mfumbwe district start benefiting locals, the United Party for National Development, UPND, in Northwestern Province have expressed strong condemnation over the recent actions by the Zambia Police Service, alleging that the police securing the Gold Rush area are permitting foreigners to mine in the night.
To achieve the intended goals as directed by the President, start first by dismantling the cadastral department. That's the West. Security inclusive data in the area. I believe there's still secretive mining going on. That's why people feel so hurt here in the province. You stop people by bringing the so-called mobile unit, but in the night they bring in foreigners and people from other regions. to start mining.
We were told that this is an illegal activity. And for sure, it was illegal for all those influx to go and conduct those unsafe mining in Mufumbo. Now, all the well and law-abiding youths of Northwestern Province moved away from Kikonge. The people who remained there are police officers. They stopped the excavator from digging, they removed the tracks. When you go there, Permanent Secretary Mines, you'll be shocked. Illegal miners, they have camped in the bush and they have been given shifts by the security personnel.
Elliot Kamondo is Mufumbwe Member of Parliament.
The President for having sent you here, and actually that things now are going to be totally different than the way we have seen. For the past 3 months, I'm actually one of the members of Parliament in Zambia who has never slept, because the people keeps on knocking on my door. Even those that didn't know, now they know that Kamondo Elliot is a member of Parliament. But I trust the process, and I trust the President that things are going to be done better.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, Dr. Hapenga Kabeta, says government is addressing the issue.
First and foremost, earlier I indicated that this is a matter that has been adequately addressed. But beyond that, I think there is a general view that these law enforcement officers require the support of the community. We need to give them confidence that they are doing the right thing.
Stakeholders have since called for the review of licensing process and for measures to ensure that local people are prioritized in the resource exploitation activities. Mlenga Walia, Diamond News, Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
President Hakainde Hichilema has appealed to the Norwegian government to re-establish its embassy in Zambia, stressing the need for strengthened bilateral ties in light of increasing global instability, trade tensions and economic uncertainty. Speaking during a courtesy call by the Norwegian Minister of International Development Cooperation, Ahmad Govna Akrast, President Hichilema has commended Norway's leadership in resource governance and sustainable development since World War II. The head of state says Zambia is eager to learn from Norway's experience in responsible mining, environmental stewardship and transparency in the extractive industries. Mr. Akrast has affirmed that Zambia is regarded as a reliable partner and underscored the importance of deepening cooperation in trade, investment, tourism and job creation while upholding international law, especially for small nations.
Development and Cooperation and his delegation paid a courtesy call on President Hakainde Hichilema, where discussions centered on strengthening bilateral relations amid rising global uncertainties. President Hichilema urged Norway to reopen its embassy in Zambia, emphasizing that enhanced cooperation is vital in an era marked by geopolitical instability, trade tensions, and economic challenges. He commended Norway's achievements in resource governance, sustainable development, and transparency, noting that Zambia seeks to draw lessons from its experience in responsible mining and environmental management.
We don't support aggression, we don't support conflict, so to say. As you know, our history as a country, we are host to a lot of liberation struggles, independence struggles, and we carry that pedigree, Minister, from those many years, since 1964. So that is extremely important to us, and we're happy to hear you say those things, alignment on those areas, and let's deepen that partnership. We also are concerned about the trade, the global trade. You touched on the trade war. I think we should replace trade wars with more cooperation, as the Minister said. But I think with all of this rounded up, I must say to you that it's high time Norway reconsiders, Minister, returning the embassy here, as opposed from servicing us from Malawi. We love Malawi, but I think given how the world is evolving, I think it's important that Norway, Zambia, and for you to relook at your embassy.
The minister highlighted Zambia as a trusted partner and called for deeper collaboration.
I think the world we are living in now, there are very dramatic times internationally, with brutal wars on all continents, with a lack of respect of international law. with very clear attacks on multilateralism, in a potential war on trade. So, I mean, there is so much uncertainty. But what I'm very certain of is that to face this, we need to have strong partners and friends, cross-regional. And we need to strengthen the work that we have together. And we think Zambia is already an excellent partner for us and has been so for decades. And we want to strengthen it even more.
Zambian ministers weighed in on this topic of discussion.
I think for us in Africa, we knew that assistance, aid, would not be perpetual. At some point, it is to end. What has been a little bit difficult, though, is the abrupt nature with which it has happened. But that is the reality. We have to face it. And from the very beginning, this administration, the agenda was fairly simple. Deal with the unsustainable debt that we found ourselves in.
This is very important because we'll have candidatures, for example, in the international organizations, and likewise, Norway will have, and we agreed to a large extent that we would support one another in that regard.
Victoria Kayeye Yambani, Diamond News.
This is the Diamond News Desk at 8. We've got some business news coming up after the break, but first, an update of the weather.
Bank, Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, making tomorrow possible.
Good evening. It is time for the Business News Update. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's take a read at the stories coming up. A Lusaka parent is urging fellow parents to encourage child entrepreneurship, and economist Dr. Luinda Habazoka is urging government to empower local gold mining. We have the money markets coming up later on as well, with relation to how the kwacha is performing as of close of business today. The construction news will be coming up shortly, as well as some construction commodity prices and commodity prices for food and non-food items. I'll be right back after this. Our Lusaka-based parent has urged fellow parents to encourage their children to venture into business from a young age. Tikwiza Muntanga, mother of 7-year-old Samuel Muntanga, a young entrepreneur who creates artifacts using 3D filament, believes children should be guided through the process of sourcing capital and starting a business. Now, she says early exposure to entrepreneurship helps nurture creativity, responsibility, and financial literacy. Meanwhile, Minister of Technology and Science, Ian Felix Mutati, has called on parents to support children participating in spelling competitions, noting that such encouragement helps build confident, capable adults.
No, this one got it. Maybe get a purple. Oh, there should be two. There's blue.
In a growing wave of youth-led innovation, a 7-year-old boy in Lusaka is challenging the notion that entrepreneurship is reserved for adults and is doing it with the full support of his mother. 7-year-old Samo Muntanga has already stepped into the world of business by creating and selling artifacts made from 3D filament. With guidance from his mother, Tikwiza Muntanga, Samo has learned how to source capital and market his creations. An early start that underscores the importance of introducing children to innovation and business from a young age.
I think the best thing to do is to encourage them as much as possible. Some of these things they want to venture into are expensive. Some are very fairly priced to venture into. If it's something expensive, just encourage your kids to try and take them through the process of finding that money to begin this project they want to begin. So they understand, they know that they've worked for this money and money is not easy to come around. That's the first point. And once they do begin to innovate, I think it's good to encourage them to try and sell their products and to get their products out there. In this case, his case, we just wanted, I think this is the first time we've actually brought him to do something because he does come to the Kids Innovation Hub. He's currently on school holiday. So it's an opportunity for him to sit here and see that it's not going to all sell in one day. He's probably going to walk away with 5 sales, but it's a starting point. So next time he's going to get better. I'm sure by the time you came, next time he's going to explain everything himself. He won't need me to. So it's a process. And I think if I had known earlier, if I was his age, I would have loved that to have that kind of support. So for him starting at this age, I think is a great thing. It leaves the future wide open, which direction he decides to take in the future.
Also speaking at the event, which also featured a national spelling competition, Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati has echoed the call for early support for young innovators.
This is an important matter. Your contribution is not the amount, but it's a passion that you extend to see that we build a Zambia that is better than we have today. And we can only build a better Zambia from bottom up. Most of us never had this opportunity when we were growing up. We're still, even if we had the opportunity, I first spoke English in grade 7. Now these are speaking in reception.
As Zambia pushes to position itself as a hub for digital transformation and local innovation, stories like Samuel's signal that the journey can and should begin at home, with parents acting as the first catalysts for change. Rachel Mumba for Diamond News.
In more business news, economist Dr. Luwinda Habazoka has called on the government to empower local citizens to engage in gold mining, suggesting that the mined gold be sold to the Zambia Gold Company and subsequently to the Bank of Zambia as a means of stimulating economic growth. Speaking during an appearance on the Diamond Breakfast earlier today, Dr. Habazoka urged authorities to legalize local mining operations, stating that doing so would ensure that mineral wealth directly benefits the nation. Meanwhile, economist, Yusuf Dodia has questioned the government's decision to continue borrowing despite the country recording daily export earnings ranging between 30 million to 50 million US dollars. Mr. Dodia suggested that these earnings could be better utilized to finance national development rather than increasing debt dependency.
Following the International Monetary Fund's approval of a $184 million disbursement to Zambia under the Extended Credit Facility, local economists appearing on Diamond Breakfast Show have reacted with calls for greater economic self-reliance. Economist Dr. Luwinda Habazoka has urged government to empower citizens to engage in gold mining, proposing a model where locally mined gold is sold to the Zambia Gold Company and eventually to the Bank of Zambia.
To be able to empower Zambian citizens to go and dig that gold and sell it directly to Zambia Gold Company, who in turn give it to Bank of Zambia. You know, I don't know what we are waiting for. As we are seated now, either somebody is illegally mining that gold and selling to foreigners, exploiting us, or we are losing opportunity to be able to generate resources. So I don't know why we are crying that we are poor, we don't have money, when we have resources that we are not harnessing. I challenge everybody who's in power to put a proactive person in charge to ensure that citizens who are crying that they have been pushed out of these mining zones are legalized, given papers, are monitored, the police move. So let's find a method of mining them so that they benefit. One, those that are going to be mining them, they get their labor, and the profit goes into the coffers of the government of the Republic of Zambia to improve our lives. We can't be talking poor at the moment, you know.
Economic analyst Yusuf Dodia has also weighed in, questioning the need for continued borrowing when Zambia earns between 30 to 50 million US dollars in daily export revenues.
It's taken a year and a half to gain the courage to say, no, we need to start to implement this framework. And it is not, in my view, being implemented at 100%. It's coming in at a gradual pace, but we are beginning to see the benefit of it. The kwacha has now increased in value from 28 kwacha to $1 to somewhere around 23. It's an increase of 20% thereabouts. And prices are beginning to come down. Maybe not commodity prices because it takes a little longer for those to come through the high seas. But look at airfare. Buy a ticket to Johannesburg, it's costing you 6,000 kwacha when it was costing you 9,000 just a month ago. So here we are in a position where we are trying to navigate through the pressures of the global geopolitics.
Right. The Economist remarks comes as the IMF has acknowledged Zambia's progress on key economic reforms, but has emphasized the need to stay on course with structural and fiscal adjustments. Rachel Mumba for Diamond News.
Let's now take a look at how the kwacha is performing as of close of business today. Now, as of close of business, this is how the kwacha is performing. It is now buying at 23 kwacha 28 ngwe and selling at 23 kwacha 67 ngwe. These are average commercial rates for today, the 28th of July 2025. Coming up shortly are the commodity construction items. Now, from your construction commodity prices, let's kickstart off with a hard hat or a helmet. This is something that you can be able to purchase. It is going for a simple 577 kwacha 71 ngwe, I beg your pardon. So be sure to purchase one of these items if you like to keep safe and be sure that you are implementing safety measures around any form of construction work. So we move on and take a look at some safety boots as well, something that you can purchase only going for 1,324 kwacha 22 ngwe for these leather boots, black in color for your safety. Those are the construction commodity prices. We have the construction news, I beg your pardon, coming up shortly. And after these short messages, we focus on the commodity prices for food and non-food items. From the commodity prices, food and non-food items, we start off with the food items. A kg of beef going for 110 and 2 kg worth of sugar, and between 67 to 70 kwacha. In between 35 to 37 kwacha, you get 1 kg worth of sugar. 2.5 kg worth of flour at 89 kwacha, 5 kg worth of nakonde rice in between 175 to 190, a tray of eggs in between 95 to 115, and 2.5 liters worth of cooking oil in between 164 to 180, 5 liters worth of cooking oil in between 260 to 300 kwacha, and a 10 kg bag of breakfast milling meal going for in between 130 to 150 kwacha. In between 260 to 310, you get yourself a 25 kg bag of breakfast milling meal. We have roller milling meal as well. For a 10 kg bag, you need exactly in between 100 to 120 kwacha, and in between 225 to 240, that's a 25 kg bag of roller milling meal. Those are the food items. Let's take a read at the non-food items now, as we start off with 10 rolls of toilet paper going for 85 kwacha. In between 37 to 40 kwacha is 175 grams worth of toothpaste, and a bar of multi-purpose soap in between 35 to 45 kwacha. Washing powder for 500 grams, you need exactly between 40 to 45 kwacha. In between 115 to 125, that's 1.5 kg worth of washing powder. And finally, we have 3.5 kg worth of washing powder in between 220 to 265 kwacha, and a bar of bathing soap in between 19 to 47 kwacha. And finally, for a 750 ml bottle of liquid hand washing soap, you need exactly 45 kwacha to get yourself a bottle. Those are the commodity prices for food and non-food items. We'll take a break shortly. The construction news is coming up.
Business News was brought to you by Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank. Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, making tomorrow possible.
It is now time for the construction news, and we focus on Nkana residents seeking healthcare officers at a newly rural clinic. Let's get straight into the details. Residents of Nkana area in Solwezi district have implored government to quickly deploy health officers at the newly commissioned rural clinic. Miriam Kawusu, a resident, has told Diamond News that the delays to deploy the officers is causing patients to seek healthcare services from far-flung health centers. Ms. Kawusu, I beg your pardon, says the non-operational of the clinic has caused expectant mothers to deliver from homes as well as along the roads due to the long distance that have to be covered to access healthcare services. Other residents like Kapia Washeni are happy for the infrastructure, however, have called for the need to let the hospital start functioning in the area. Meanwhile, Solwezi Central Member of Parliament Stafford Mulusa has promised to engage the Ministry of Health so that they can deploy health personnel to the area.
Commissioned this year, 2025, in May, Kakanda Rural Clinic in Solwezi District of Northwestern Province has not started functioning yet. This is because health personnel have not been deployed to the facility. Amidst the presence of this infrastructure in this rural part of Solwezi, residents are concerned with the delay to deploy health personnel for it to start operating.
Utampa bidzipa mande wakalete nasi tutampe kutambura muchi mambo bantu tuwapapire ngo mashinda kampe umo wafira pakati kubase no muwiro bara pamo pankinga emwani kine tuwasante.
The residents are happy for the clinic in the area, however, want it operational to curb challenges they have to incur just to access healthcare services.
Tuiba santira pabukwashi pakwitu kwasha kipatera. Mambo twakuyanda ngakine tuwaende ngapare pa kupapira mashinda bana kona ikira mashinda pano kine ba MP ne ba president lese mupeshe.
A visit by Solwezi Central Member of Parliament Stafford Mulusa at the facility has revealed the completion of a 1-by-2 flat which was causing delay to deploy officers.
Since we officially handed over the clinic, we expected the Minister of Health to at least to assign 1 or 2 people here. But they gave a reason of no accommodation. You have seen how fast we've been. So far, the 1-by-2 flat is done. We have seen the house there is almost done. So we expect that people should move in. They should move in to give a service to the people. I should be going to their offices on Monday morning to just find out why we don't have anyone assigned to this clinic.
Once operational, Kakanda Rural Clinic will be able to service over 15,000 people living in the area. Mlenga Bwalia, Diamond News, Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
Well, that's your construction news right there. We take a break. When we get back, we still have more news items coming up this evening on the news desk. To stick around.
Welcome back. With artificial intelligence becoming an increasingly critical tool in development planning and data analysis, the African Union has launched a regional training workshop to help member states harness AI in advancing their development agendas. The training is tailored to support the implementation of the African Union's second 10-year implementation plan agenda 2063. It further aims to equip government officials and key stakeholders with cutting-edge digital tools and strategies that align with national priorities without overburdening institutional systems. Dr. Oliver Kalawo, Deputy Secretary to Cabinet in charge of administration, has officially opened the workshop in Lusaka.
Intelligence is increasingly becoming a vital tool in national development, data analysis, and evidence-based decision-making. In Zambia, a regional training is currently underway, equipping government officials and stakeholders with the knowledge and skills to leverage AI in monitoring and reporting on the African Union's second 10-year implementation plan of Agenda 2063.
Officiated by the Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet, the workshop marks a significant step toward integrating emerging technologies into continental development efforts. The initiative is part of a broader effort by the African Union Commission AUC to strengthen implementation frameworks and ensure that progress towards continental goals is both measurable and impactful.
Through AI-powered data, integration, real-time monitoring, and predictive analytics, we can improve the quality and timeliness of national and continental reports. This, in turn, will enable evidence-based policymaking, enhance accountability, and accelerate our collective progress towards achieving the aspiration of the Agenda 2063.
Boto Layendi is the Director of the Office of Strategic Planning and Delivery at the AUC and has reaffirmed the AU's commitment to empowering member states with modern tools and strategies to accelerate development without being overwhelmed.
In the global arena, we are geographically spread, and science and technology can bring us closer.
AI offers us unprecedented opportunities to enhance our monitoring and reporting mechanism. It can streamline data collection, improve analysis, and facilitate transparent reporting, thereby ensuring that we remain accountable to our commitment under Agenda 2063.
Agenda 2063 is the African Union's 50-year strategic framework for the socio-economic transformation of the continent, adopted in 2015.
As the training continues, organizers hope the skills gained will strengthen national and regional capacities in tracking progress towards the ambitious goal of Agenda 2063. Darius Jonia, Diamond News.
The Public Accounts Committee has called for urgent support to modernize the operations of the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, to ensure a seamless system. Speaking during a joint tour of ZAMSA with the Committee on Health and Social Services, PAC Chairperson Warren Mwambazi has urged the executive to provide the necessary resources to address the agency's challenges. He has emphasized the importance of confirming or reverting individuals currently serving in acting positions, noting that firm decisions require clearly defined leadership. Meanwhile, ZAMSA Acting Director of Warehousing and Distribution, Roosevelt Kianamina, has revealed that the agency currently holds 70% of the required medical stock, ensuring the public that there is no cause for panic.
It is a call for stronger health systems. The Public Accounts Committee says the Zambia Medicines and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, needs urgent modernization to strengthen drug distribution and service delivery.
ZAMSA, suffice to say, that needs a lot of support in terms of modernization to ensure that we can have seamless systems apart from what you have to enhance it. It's not a cheap venture, but very expensive, but I think we're urging the executive to ensure that you are supported for us to curb all these misgivings and issues we have at ZAMSA.
The committee, accompanied by members of the Health and Social Service Committee, toured ZAMSA's central warehouse and ambulance fleet in Lusaka.
We entered, where the cold chain storage is, and I think as a committee so far, were impressed. We're also impressed with the ambulances that ZAMSA, 76, 80 to go, and DG, we're looking forward to receive the 80. I hope that come, you said August month end?
Month in November.
Yeah, we'll have more ambulances, and we'll soon want to distribute these ambulances to our constituencies, because our people are so expectant, they're waiting for ambulances.
And the systems in place are designed to increase accountability, to ensure we do get value for money for everything that we get, as well as create a storage facility that is safe. Safe to maintain our commodities, safe from pilferage, as well as a system that allows us to distribute to every Zambian within our borders.
And despite concerns, ZAMSA Acting Director of Warehousing and Distribution, Roosevelt Kenamina, revealed that 70% of essential medical stock is currently available.
So indeed, we are confirming that the stock of availability at the central warehouse for essential medicines is at 70%. So what we'd love to mention at this point is that there is no need for the public to panic. What we require as ZAMSA is for the health facilities to send us the requisition from their end so that we're able to process these requisitions and ship the commodities.
As oversight continues, the agency's ability to deliver life-saving supplies remains under scrutiny, with modernization seen as key to long-term health resilience. Best Jerry, Diamond News.
The Standing Up for a Boy Child Initiative Zambia has called for targeted policies and interventions to support the well-being of the boy child. And speaking during a meeting with the Parliamentary Caucus on Children, Organization Chief Executive Officer Mildred Chinyanta says the national programs have largely focused on empowering the girl child, leaving boys vulnerable to school dropout, street life and substance abuse.
Standing Up for a Boy Child Initiative Zambia, SUBSEAS, has called for targeted interventions to improve the well-being of the boy child. SUBSEAS Chief Executive Officer Mildred Chinyanta says while there has been significant progress in empowering the girl child, the boy child has been left behind. Speaking during a meeting with the Parliamentary Caucus on Children, Ms. Kanyanta raised concerns that the country's development efforts have heavily focused on girls, leaving boys vulnerable and underserved.
Here to talk about equity, where we came to remind you that as you're making up policies, let the policies speak to all the gender, not policies that are speaking to one gender. So far, we can feel it on the ground that there's no policy that is tailored to the needs of our boys and young men, especially when it comes to education. There are a lot of programs that girls are benefiting from. No wonder we could see that the number of street children are boys.
And Parliamentary Caucus on Children Vice Chairperson, Itezi Member of Parliament Twambo Mutinda, welcomed the call by SUBSEAS, stating that the caucus is open to partnering with the initiative, stressing the importance of addressing such issues affecting the boy child.
And the members of Parliament, they are also agreeing that the current programs, the current laws, the current structures that we have, be it in schools, be it in government programming, they are favoring the girls at the expense of the boys, and they are not promoting gender. So those things have been agreed by these members of Parliament. Members of Parliament who are now afraid to make laws that will conflict. Another CSO will come to us tomorrow, telling us the opposite of what you are telling us.
Other parliamentarians present at the meeting re-echoed the need for boy-child-centered interventions in the country.
We have is a lack of sufficient information. What I understand is that the issue to do with inherent discrimination of the girl child has been a cultural issue. But with the boy child, we are dealing with a social issue. And it is very, very important that therefore the social indicators at policy level must positively discriminate to have more boy children involved in most of these programs. So
already doing what you're proposing, except there hasn't been a specific focus on the boy child. So what I would suggest to you is that for those of us that are already running with these programs. Please, let's work together on some of these activities. We can help you implement some of your objectives.
Cherish Sibode for Diamond News.
Well, those are some of the stories we had lined up for you on this edition of the Diamond News Desk. Coming up at 21:15, join myself and Chimoy Kachilesha as we break down some of the big news stories of the day. Stay with us.